Donald Trump is literally destroying the existing White House to build his $250 million ballroom that he promised us was not going to interfere with the historic old structure. This is what they're doing today. They're literally destroying the White House to build his stupid ballroom. The ballroom's going to be equal to the size of the White House that already exists. That's how gaudy and hideous this is going to be. It's going to double the size of the White House. Let me read you the quote from Trump. "It won't interfere with the current building. It'll be near it but not touching it, and pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of. It's my favorite. It's my favorite place. I love it." He's tearing it down, guys. This part of the White House, the East Wing, has been around since 1902, traditionally used by first ladies. That's a good 123 years, guys. 123 years of American history that this guy has just destroyed because no one has the backbone to stand up to him and say, stop. It's also a metaphor for our entire country, what he's doing today. He's tearing it down bit by bit, and nobody is saying no.
Trump literally destroys everything he touches. I mean, look at this. He is now literally destroying the White House to build his monstrous $250 million ballroom. They originally said that the existing White House would not be interfered with. But look at this. They're ripping off sides of the White House. This is truly unbelievable. This guy can't keep the government open, but he can build a ballroom? Like, what the fuck? People are losing their jobs. People are going to lose their health insurance. People are going to lose their SNAP benefits. This is in the millions. And this is what the President of the United States is doing. Tearing down part of the White House to build a ballroom he likely will never dance in. This is disgusting. This is abhorrent. Everyone should be upset by this. Comment what you think. Like, share, spread the word, follow, subscribe, and I'll see you back here for the 411.
We have some major breaking news out of the White House where Donald Trump has had a construction crew demolishing part of the East Wing. As you can see, there is a Volvo crane taking it apart with many different workers here. This demolition is in order to rebuild this as a ballroom instead of the historical building that was there before. This is going to cost $250 million, and he said that it would not interfere with the existing building. However, as you can see today, the White House has begun to be destroyed by a construction crew. This is what this part of the East Wing of the White House looked like before the demolition team began their renovations. Obviously, we will never be able to see this again. This is now destroyed. This is a part of the American history that has been forever lost.
The White House has been destroyed. And by the way, not by communists and not by some foreign enemy. It's actually being torn apart for Trump's $250 million ballroom that you're going to pay for out of your tax dollars. And mind you, this comes at a time when more than 60% of Americans are living paycheck to paycheck. While over 100 million Americans are uninsured or underinsured, which means that they have health insurance but are afraid to go see a doctor because of the medical bill. While literally millions, 42 million people to be exact, are at risk of losing their food stamps in November because Trump shut the government down. While there are literally no jobs, given the fact that the unemployment rate is now 4.3%, which is the highest in nearly 4 years. Even threatening to censor and revoke licenses from news organizations that criticize him. And he's even deploying the military to take over American cities. Now let me ask you something. Remember when Trump called Kamala a communist dictator? That's literally what he's doing right now. Everything that he told you to fear about communism, he's doing it. So while the White House gets its golden ballroom, I need you to ask yourself, who's really destroying America? It was never about protecting you from communism. It was about making sure that you didn't notice when they became the thing that they told you to fear.
You know, there seems to be nothing off limits to this imbecile of a fucking president we have. This orange buffoon, in order to build his goddamn ballroom, is already started demolishing the White House. That's right, the White House. Demolition has begun on the East Wing of the friggin' White House. It is unbelievable how disrespectful this idiot of a president is to the American people, into our buildings, our government property. The White House doesn't belong to Trump. It doesn't belong to any of these goddamn presidents. But yet he seems to think that it does. And he just wants to mow over rose gardens, do whatever the hell it is he wants to do. And now he's actually demolishing a section of the friggin' White House, the East Wing. Go Google it. You'll see exactly what the hell is happening. It's unbelievable that this man thinks he owns every goddamn thing. Well, at some point, is anybody in that administration gonna stand up, grow a set of fucking balls or a spine and tell him, you know what, this is not a good idea and we shouldn't be doing this? Let me know your thoughts in the comments about Trump destroying the White House to build his goddamn ballroom. Like, share, follow for more. This is Grim with Get the Rant, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Hypothetically speaking, if someone rolled up to your place of residence today, your house, your apartment, wherever, with a bunch of equipment, and they just like took down a wall, just ripped a wall right off your house, your apartment, whatever, would you be cool with that? Like you didn't sign anything, you did not agree to it, it just happened? That is quite literally what happened at the White House today, because I would like to remind everyone here on the whole TikToks that this is not President Trump's house. And it wasn't President Obama's house or President Biden's house or George W. Bush's house or any other president's house before that. It really wasn't. It was a place of residence for the president to reside by the people, for the people. It is our house. It's our house. Our tax dollars pay for the upkeep, maintenance, etc. of the house. And now he has brought in his crane, destroyer, bulldozer. I'm not in construction, clearly. He's brought this in and he's taken part of the house apart. Why? Because he wants to put in his privately funded, allegedly, who knows, this guy is not great with money, ballroom, giant ballroom, as part of the White House. He wants to put that in to our house. It's the same as him coming by your place of residence today and just pulling apart the walls. This is treason. I'm sorry. It is.
This is the East Wing of the White House, which is being demolished in order to make room for Trump's golden ballroom, which is going to cost upwards of $200 million to build. But don't worry, the taxpayers, our tax dollars are not going towards any of this, or Medicaid, or SNAP, or anything really that the federal government funds, because we are currently in a government shutdown. Well, except for Argentina. We're sending $40 billion to Argentina. So your taxpayers, our taxpayer dollars are going towards that. By the way, Trump said that the ballroom wouldn't interfere with the existing White House structure. So it appears he may have lied about that, which is crazy when you think about it. Like, who would have thought that he would have lied, right?
In 1902, the East Wing was built, and in 2025, it's being destroyed. Now, it's gone through several renovations over the years, most notably in 1942 when they added the second story. But now, we're adding a palace fit for a king. And no, we don't have a king. The problem is we have a president who thinks he's a king and wildly denies it. But when a government is being wildly torn apart to be rebuilt, they have to rebuild the infrastructure too, right? Why not doll up the office and build new big giant buildings that are going to be bigger than the actual White House? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts. It's just a building, right? With historical significance. But after all, we do have a president who wants to change history, or at least delete it. I don't know. You tell me.
So, as you can see, today construction started on the $250 million ballroom, the Golden Ballroom. And during the original press conference, they did announce, or Donald Trump announced, that nothing would be touched. That's the East Wing that is being taken apart. I don't know. It just kind of makes me sad. Yes, there have been other presidents. Truman put in a bowling alley, and so did Nixon. They both put them in on two different ends of the White House. The Obamas put in a playground that's used all the time when children come. And who else was it that I read? The Kennedys. Kennedys, of course, Jackie O's famous Rose Garden is now a patio. And they also, because they had children, put in a swimming pool. So there's a pool on the White House grounds, and there's a children's playground, and there's bowling alleys downstairs. But I haven't seen any demolition of anything like that in my lifetime. So just sad.
And then I don't know if you guys saw this picture, but a picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So DT is now demolishing parts of the White House so that he can build a $250 or $260 million ballroom. So that place that held so much history and just so much of our information, like not really information, but just so much history and information like on things that have happened and everything like that. This historical landmark is now being demolished and taken down to build a freaking venue. A freaking ballroom venue, that's what he's building. And some of you might just be like, well, who cares? Like, what does it matter? To me, it's a big deal. It makes me sick that he's just destroying parts of our history. Because when I went to New Orleans a couple years ago, if anyone there wants to update their house or make any changes to it, they have to go through like a huge process, they told us on the tour, to like be able to do that. They have to make sure that the paint color that they get matches like historical paint or paint chips that are under the house. They have to get hardware that is period accurate. So for just houses in New Orleans that are historical, that's like their process. But this man is just demolishing the White House, parts of it, to build a fucking ballroom. So like, let that sink in, guys.
This is a picture of the East Wing of the White House, which began demolition today to build Trump's $250 million ballroom that no one asked for. This is important because, according to the plans, the existing White House would not be demolished, would have zero interference, and withhold its historical stature. But I guess there are HOAs which are harder to get through than it is to demolish an historical building like the White House. Mind you, this ballroom is being built in a gaudy, very ugly Trump style, just like he destroyed the Oval Office. And this is going to be built, and he's building it like he's not going to not be the president in 3 years. And this is not the only works project. He's building a Trump arc, like an Arc de Triomphe across from the Lincoln Memorial. And he's doing all this stuff while the government is closed, while we're out here detaining people left and right. ICE agents are getting paid, but the military isn't getting paid. Shit is getting crazy. What do you guys think?
Well, the No Kings protest was a huge success in spite of what Donald Trump and the Republicans are trying to say. Donald Trump suggested it was no big deal, not that many people showed up. No, bitch, there were 7 million people there. And you know what? Every one of those people that showed up at the No Kings protest weren't there to hate America. They just hate Donald Trump. They don't like Donald Trump. They don't like the Republicans or the Trumplafucks and the things they're doing to this country. They showed up and they showed out 7 million strong. Now, the Republicans are trying to discount it as much as possible, but it's not working. We all saw it. There were no fake videos. There was no AI. It was all there. It really fucking happened. And this is why the Republicans are so upset. Now, on the Rational Boomer podcast, a show I do every night, today's podcast I'd like you to listen to, because I have a guest by the name of C Temptation. She's out here on TikTok as well under political discussion, and she's on YouTube too. But I had her on the podcast today because she's from Chicago, and she participated in the No Kings protest in Chicago. Now, in Chicago, there was like 250, maybe 300,000 people showing up over the whole day. And she had quite an insight as to what happened. Now, Donald Trump can suggest what happened and that it wasn't effective or that it was violent or whatever he wants to say. But this woman was in the middle of it in one of the biggest protests in the country. So I hope you'll check out the Rational Boomer podcast. You can get the video on YouTube, or you can get the audio or video on Spotify. All you have to do is go search Rational Boomer and you'll find it. Please check out the Rational Boomer podcast today. And we're on every night, every day. We talk about some interesting things and have some great guests. So be sure to check out the Rational Boomer podcast.
Well, it started like this.
It's an honor to be with a very strong leader.
And ended like this.
I want to fuck around with the United States.
With a whole lot of fuck-uppery in between.
A man who has been through a lot.
Look at these expressions facing Zelensky.
I know very well, and we've gotten along really very well. Big call yesterday, as you know, with President Putin. He's endured a lot.
Considering Trump's attachment to Putin's teat, I need to point out he's talking about Zelensky there. Zelensky's been through a lot, but not just Zelensky.
And we've endured it with him, to be honest.
But Trump means in that I've been listening to you bitch about your ex for the last 2 years kind of way.
With my phone call with President Putin, it began with Alaska.
Alaska?
We inherited this.
Just getting the Biden blaming out of the way.
And we're gonna get it ended.
To have to capitulate to such an idiot as Donald Trump when the life of your country and the future of your country is at stake.
My congratulations with your successful ceasefire in the Middle East.
Thank you.
A ceasefire that technically didn't last maybe 24 hours, but he has to acknowledge that it's just part of the game. The Venezuelan woman who won the Nobel Peace Prize had to do the same thing. He's waging war upon her country. And of course, Trump being Trump, he takes her statement and turns it into, she's dedicating it to me.
This is the momentum to finish Russia's war against Ukraine.
Zelensky, as has the rest of the world, has repeatedly had to remind Trump that Putin invaded Ukraine.
With your help, we can stop this war.
And I think he looks beautiful in his jacket.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. It's actually very stylish. I like it.
One day my mind just wandered into this place of imagining what constricting somebody's heart would look like, visualizing this. It just welled up from my soul.
We're like Viktor Orban. He likes him, I like him.
Putin and Trump are going to meet at Orban's place. You know, kindred spirits. They like him. They like him.
He's been a very good leader in the sense of running his country.
Orban is Putin's closest ally. When it comes to Ukrainian issues in NATO or the EU, Orban is always the singular holdout, and he repeatedly railed against any sanctions imposed upon Russia by the EU, not by us. So to state the obvious, this is a big FU to the EU. FU, EU. Sometimes I amuse myself. Once again, the President of the United States blatantly turning his back on our allies and going with the bad guys.
Viktor Orban, I think he'll be a very good host.
Hey guys, happy Monday. So, we've been hearing about them saying that they will not be distributing SNAP benefits starting next month. And people are starting to say that they're looking up their balances online and the links are not open and yada, yada, yada. I've got one thing to say, and I'm echoing the sentiments of so many others I've heard say this since the notification came down that they would not be issuing SNAP benefits. Go to your HR department and redo your tax status. Go into your HR department and edit your tax status that they're not taking tax out of your check anymore. That's called taxation without representation. If the people in this country aren't getting the assistance they need to care for themselves and their families, you're not getting another one of my tax dollars. We just heard him do an interview on his jet that when they asked him about sending the 40 billion with the B, $40 billion over to Argentina, he said that because he knows the leader over there and he's doing his best to get things back on track, and that they're literally dying over there and he's going to step in and help them. The farmers here have been literally dying on their farms, filing bankruptcies. People here are literally dying from their Medicare benefits being cut, from cancer research. So why is it Argentina's status is so much more important than the United States status? Didn't he win this so-called win this election on America first? Then why is Argentina coming before America? I'm talking to Trump voters now. Why is Argentina getting $40 billion of our tax dollars and we can't even afford to give the SNAP benefits to the people in this country who needs them? Go to your HR department and change your tax status to where not one dime is coming out of your paycheck. If you're not going to be taking care of the United States citizens with my tax dollars, I'm not giving you my tax dollars. I'm not here to support Argentina. I'm not here to support Israel soldiers. I'm not here to make sure that the Israel soldiers get their benefits and their retirement. I'm not here to make sure that Israel gets free education. I'm not here to make sure that Israel gets free universal health care. Those are not my priorities. My tax dollars are supposed to be going to the citizens in the United States, not everywhere else. If that's what he's going to do, let him take his money and send it to him. But as of me and my household, baby, you can hang it up. Go to HR, change your tax status. Until they are supporting United States citizens with your tax dollars, quit paying them. Point blank period. Quit paying them. That's my stance. And that's going to be my stance until this crap turns around. Don't let them scare you into standing up for your rights. You can always set up a payment plan for your taxes. You can always set up a payment plan. You can always take the money that normally comes out of the tax, you can put that into another account. Draw some interest off of it. And when it's time to pay your taxes, you can take that money and pay your taxes. You can either hold on to the money, invest the money, so when things get back on track and they're going to hold you accountable for the taxes you haven't paid, you have those taxes. And if you don't have them, you set up a payment plan. But the bottom line is this: I'm not giving not one other country not a dime of my tax dollars, because this man is trying to kill us over here and support everybody else abroad. Let them take their tax dollars and support their people. You're not getting another one of my pennies. You're not getting another one. It's time out. It's been past time out. And you know what? Let's start a new trend. Okay? Let's start a new trend. Since we know this idiot in the White House is only out for himself and his chosen few, it's time we start turning the heat up every single freaking day on these Epstein files. There needs to be a new trend started, and I'm willing to pop it off. There's this new arrangement that we did. Release them Epstein files. I did a quick little video on it yesterday, just jamming to the music. It was popping. But I think we need to do that in some version every single day. Every single day we need to post release them Epstein files. I got my way. I'm gonna do it every day because I love that song, baby. I be jamming it. I ain't even gonna lie. I be jamming. I can't wait to come up with a little routine to do it. But every single day, and I will be posting one later today. Release them Epstein file, and I will have a title: Start Trend. Play one of these a day to keep the pedophiles away. Yeah, play once a day. to keep the pedophiles away. Yeah, it's time. Quit playing in our face. Because we finna start playing back in y'all's. And I'm going to get on up out of here for a minute. I'm going to holler back at y'all a little bit later. But don't forget that little tidbit I told you about your taxes. Why should our tax dollars go way over to people we've never seen? When our own people here, our own neighbors, our own family, our own communities are getting ready to be starving. I wish I would.